very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Health Ministry report on fungal infection detected in Ampara due tomorrow. Former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says the decision on COVID-19 issues should be taken by a responsible cabinet and not committees.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ආර්ථිකය කියලා ජීවිත බෙල්ලට දෙන්න එපා. මේක බහිරව කන්දක් නෙමෙයි.
Does the government have a two-thirds majority?
කලින් අපිට තුනෙන් දෙකක් ඕන වෙලාවදී අපි පෙන්නුවා. ඉදිරියේදීත් යම් දිනක ඒක ඕනේ වුණොත් අපිට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්.
දැන් තුනෙන් දෙක නැති වුණේ එක මොකද්ද රජයේ ඇමතුරු මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡා තියදී කියන්නේ? නෑ අපිට තුනෙන් දෙකක් තිබුණා ඒක ගණන් කරා වැරදි කියනවා.
Plight of farmers in the floodplains national park.
අපි මේ අහිංසක ගොවියට කුඹරට යනකොට අපිව මරන්න දෙන්න එපා. SDF එකයි පොලිසියයි ඔක්කොම යනවා. අපි හිලකාරයෝ නෙවෙයිනේ.
Many areas impacted by heavy rains. 17 hospitalized after lightning strike. Fire on ship carrying chemicals reignites.
Today is the 23rd of May 2021. How should the public act when travel restrictions are lifted on the 25th of May? What is the situation of the black fungus infection? Will economic centres operate? What is the weather situation in the country?
Go there.
369 individuals have been arrested over the last 24 hours for violating travel restrictions during operations carried out by the police across the country. The police had launched special operations in Tiharia, Netambua and Vatupitivela to crack down on individuals who are flouting quarantine regulations. Police issued strict warnings to individuals who had flouted quarantine regulations and took steps to close down stores that were kept open. The police also took steps to apprehend those who violated the quarantine regulations. Meanwhile, vehicles were inspected near the Benthara Bridge as part of efforts to monitor the manner in which the public is abiding by travel restrictions. This was the situation in Colombo today. The police inspected vehicles in several areas including Kolpiti and Boralla. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Army has extended its support in ensuring the implementation of travel restrictions that have been imposed to curb the spread of COVID-19. The army carried out special operations in several areas today as well.
Forty-six COVID-19 deaths were confirmed by the Director General of Health Services yesterday. Accordingly, Sri Lanka's tally of COVID-19 deaths stands at 1,178. 2,254 new COVID-19 infections were detected in the country today, raising the total number of infections up to 163,496. 31,457 infected individuals are currently under medical care, while 128,607 individuals have recovered from the virus.
Head of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreak, General Shavendra Silva, urged people to remain at home even when travel restrictions are lifted briefly on the 25th of May. He added that the public will be able to visit only the nearest store to purchase essential items.
How will trains operate from the 25th of May?
The Department of Railways has said that certain trains will operate when travel restrictions are lifted on the 25th of May to support the functioning of essential services. Accordingly, trains will operate between Ambepussa and Colombo Fort, Polgahavela and Kandy. Alutgama and Maradana, Kochikade and Colombo Fort, Avisavilla and Colombo, and Beliatta and Induvara.
How will agricultural and fisheries products be distributed?
7 economic centres will remain open for farmers to sell their produce on the 24th, 25th, 27th and 28th of this month, although travel restrictions will be in effect. Accordingly, fisheries products can also be sold during this period without any hindrance. The Paliagoda Manin market will be open for wholesale trading tomorrow, while both wholesale and retail trading at the market will take place on the 25th.
Can a private vehicle be used to transport a COVID-19 patient to a hospital?
A patient can be brought to the hospital using a private vehicle, but after the patient is dropped off at the hospital, the people who accompanied the patient must directly go back to their home. They cannot stop anywhere else, as they are close contacts of the patient. This must be used as a last resort. Only if you cannot find an ambulance. You must try to refrain from doing this as much as possible.
Can the management of a hospital reject to admit a COVID-19 patient?
We received a few complaints that there were delays in admitting certain patients who were taken in ambulances. A few days ago, we issued a circular requiring hospital authorities to admit patients who seek treatment between 15 to 20 minutes. The patient should then be sent to either another hospital or an intermediate treatment center. The black fungus disease, caused as a result of weak immunity in COVID-19 infected individuals, was first detected in India in late April. Reports indicate that the black fungus disease is spreading rapidly in India and has been detected among approximately 8,800 infected individuals. According to foreign media, 90 of these patients have died in India. Against such a backdrop, the states of Rajasthan and Gujarat have identified the black fungus disease as an epidemic. India's central government has said that special attention must be paid towards this disease. The Health Ministry has said that the fungal infection detected in the Ampara district is not similar to the black fungus infection detected in India. A 35-year-old COVID-19 infected individual from Ampara had been admitted to the Ampara hospital as he was suffering with the fungal infection on the 4th of May.
අපගේ විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍යවරු ඔහුගේ blood sample check කරා එහිදී දැනගන්න ලැබුණා cryptococcus.
Our specialist doctors have conducted blood tests on the patient. The test had revealed the presence of a fungal infection called cryptococcus. The infected individual was admitted to the intensive care unit for treatment. A PCR test then returned positive for COVID-19. The patient was then transferred to a COVID-19 treatment facility. The patient had subsequently died on the 14th.
Have patients been detected previously with this infection in Sri Lanka?
Around 3 or 4 infected individuals receive treatment in our hospital annually. We provide them with the necessary treatment. Therefore, we cannot say that this disease had entered the country from India. Several patients in Sri Lanka have this infection.
Are there other COVID-19 patients with this infection?
No. Several COVID-19 patients have been detected at hospitals, but none of them were reported to have contracted this fungal infection.
What is the cause of this infection?
A person with diseases such as leprosy and tuberculosis that weaken the immunity system can be infected by this disease. This is present in all parts of the country. The infection in India is different. The Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemanta Herath, has said that tests are being carried out into this matter. He added that the final results of these tests are likely to be published tomorrow.
That was a manner in which a woman lamented in front of our cameras yesterday during the distribution of the 5,000 rupee relief pack in Ihala, Rawala.
බඩු දෙනවා නම් ගමේ ඔක්කොටම දෙන්න ඕනේ. එච්චරයි. අහිංසක මිනිස්සුනේ අපි කවුරුත්.
රජයෙන් කිසිම දානිකුත් නැහැ. දෙන ආධාරයක් අපිට දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ සූදකලාව අපිට නැද්ද? අපි කන්නේ බත් නෙවෙයිද?
Dambula police arrived at the location last afternoon to control the situation. And this was what transpired at the end.
ගෘහමූලිකාංක කීයද වගේ?
26. මේ තියෙන 26.
මේ 26 තියෙන්නේ. 26 කියන්නේ කුඩා බණ්ඩනේ.
නෑ 26න් දෙක දාලා තියෙන්නේ.
දෙක සමෘද්ධිලාභියෙක් අරගෙන යන්න පාර්සලේ.
Former Prime Minister and leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, released a statement on curbing the spread of COVID-19.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ආර්ථිකය කියලා ජීවිත බෙල්ලට දෙන්න එපා.
Do not sacrifice lives for the sake of the economy. This is not a virus that will just disappear. The Sri Lankan rupee depreciated because the central bank printed money. If we invested $200 million in November, we could have avoided the current situation in the country today. Since we brought down Indian tourists in a bid to increase foreign reserves, the spread of the virus intensified. Today we can see that these committees cannot do this. If there is a need to close down the country, those who are in need must be assisted by the government. The President and the Cabinet of Ministers must use their powers to decide on what must be done. Do not demean the Cabinet of Ministers. We must ensure to protect the health of the country. Let us take measures to achieve that and protect our nation.
කරන්න එපා. අපිට දැන් තියෙන්නේ රටේ සෞඛ්‍ය ආරක්ෂාව ලබා දෙන්න. ඒ සඳහා අපි වැඩ කටයුතු කරමු. අපි රට ජාතිය බේර ගන්නට ක්‍රියා කරමු.
Local news, the Academy of Health Professionals has said that the directive issued by the Health Secretary to refrain from making statements to the media suppresses the right to speech and also minimizes opportunities to rectify the shortcomings in the health sector. The medical body had made the statement in a letter sent to the President.
The Academy of Health Professionals said that allowing only a selected few to get involved in the process of making decisions to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic and barring many other factions from getting involved in making technical decisions has resulted in this situation. The statement points out although the members of the Presidential Task Force and technical committees involved in the decision making were proved to have made a number of erroneous decisions in an arrogant manner, no action has been taken to ensure their accountability. It adds that using the establishment court to act in this manner highlights a serious flaw in the administrative process. Meanwhile, the Power of Working People movement has said that the arrest of the officer attached to the Land Title Settlement Department suppresses the right of that officer to exercise freedom of speech. Issuing a statement, the movement pointed out that such actions will restrict the right to speech of state officials and will induce fear among other officials in service.
The National Intellectuals Organisation convened a media briefing in this regard today.
This
incident issues a stern warning to all state officials. It clearly shows that state officials cannot bear their independent ideologies or views, not just in terms of their profession, but also in their personal lives as well. This incident is also an indication of how the state service will be managed in the future. The state service is being managed using public funds. Therefore, state officials will continue to draw salaries using the money of the people. They must fulfill the needs of the people and not the whims and fancies of politicians. Although investments continue to be made in Sri Lanka, rural communities continue to face difficulties due to the dilapidated conditions of roads. The construction activities of the Uduhavara Korande-Kurumba road in Uvaparanagama, Badulla commenced on the 20th of July 2021. 106 million rupees were allocated from a loan provided by the Asian Development Bank to carry out this project. Villagers allege that the construction activities have been halted for 3 years, although the contract period was fixed for 2 years. This is the only road that allows the people of Korande Kumbura to transport goods, including vegetables and fruits.
Since construction activities are halted, the road is in a dilapidated state. Villagers point out that the road they had previously is far better than the current road.
මුන් ඇවිල්ලා අපි විනාශ කරා මහත්තයා. හදනවන හදන්න ඕන මහත්තයා. අපේ බදු මුදල් සල්ලිනේ මහත්තයා. බදු මුදල් සල්ලි. මුන් කරාවේ අපරාධ ළමයි දෙන්නෙක්වත් නැමෙතන මහත්තයා. පාර හොදට තිබ්බේ. මුන් ඇවිල්ලා මේක හාරලා ගියාට පස්සේ දැන් මේ යන්න පුළුවන් බලන්න ෆ්‍රී විල් එකකට පස්සේ බලා ඉන්නවා අද හදයි කියලා. සල්ලි ටික කාලා යනවා. මුන් හිතන්නේ අපි හරක් මීහරක් කියලා තමයි හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ. රට කාලා මේවත් කාලා ඔක්කොම කාලා දැන් අපිත් කන්න තමයි හද.
වාහනයකට යන්න එන්න බෑ. වැහි වෙලාවට පොඩි ළමයි යනවා ඉස්කෝලවල යන්නේ. කලින් බස් එක මේක උඩට ආවා ඒක එන්නෙත් නෑ.
බස් 3ක් වැඩ කරා. එක බස් එකක් යන්නේ නැහැ නේද?
Farmers were prepared to begin their cultivations at the Veragodayaya fields in the Floodplains National Park or the Polonnaruwa district. However, they were not allowed to cultivate by wildlife conservation officers and officers of the police special task force.
Don't try to attack these innocent farmers who are trying to cultivate their fields. The special task force and the police were all present here. We are not prisoners. Are we criminals? Are we thieves? We are farmers. The court has made a decision and we cannot go against that. Secondly, do not organize yourselves like this. Come with written permission. If someone told you that you will be granted permission, obtain that in writing and come to us with legal documents.
Farmers point out that the ancestral fields are located in Veragodayaya, which has not been taken under the purview of the Wildlife Conservation Department. There are about 580 acres of paddy fields in this area. We cultivate paddy for a living and provide our produce to the government. We obtain loans to cultivate our fields. We also sell our produce to the government. These are heinous crimes.
We have been issued permits. These permits have been renewed. There are only 586 acres of land here. We too are learned people. If the executive president of a country says that something must be implemented by the officials of the state, that is something that we all know. But now the president has told us to cultivate on these fields. He publicly asked farmers in Madurigiriya to cultivate on their ancestral fields. We believed that and accepted it. We thought that what is said by the leader of the country will be accepted by everyone.
The Polonnaruwa police intervened and informed both parties to visit the police station tomorrow. Seventeen people were admitted to the Kottagala hospital due to a lightning strike in the Kottagala area in Hatton today. The district medical officer of the hospital, Savitri Sharma, said that a group of plantation workers had been injured in the lightning strike.
The lightning strike had hit when a group of plantation workers were plucking tea leaves at the Derton estate in Kottagala. Meanwhile, 2 children were injured after a tree collapsed onto a house in Deniaya. Our correspondent reported that the injured children have been admitted to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital.
While the inclement weather conditions continue to wreak havoc in many parts of the country, several areas are receiving rainfall even as we speak at present. In line with this, the Met Department has issued a forecast cautioning that several areas in the country will receive heavy rains until the 26th of this month as the southwest monsoon establishes itself gradually in the country.
The Department of Meteorology has forecast heavy rains exceeding 100 millimeters in the western, Sabragamua, central and southern provinces and showers exceeding 75 millimeters in the northwestern province tomorrow. Tuesday's forecast predicts that the western, Sabragamua, central and southern provinces may receive more than 150 millimeters of rainfall. The northwestern province is likely to receive more than 100 millimeters of rainfall. According to Wednesday's weather forecast, the western and southern provinces are expected to receive more than 100 millimeters of rainfall, while the Sabragamua and central provinces are likely to receive rainfall above 150 millimeters. Intermittent showers are expected in other areas as well.
With several areas receiving heavy rainfall, the Department of Irrigation has issued a statement cautioning that there is a possibility that 5 river basins in the western province might be flooded due to heavy rains as well.
The Kalani, Kalu, Bentara, Gin and Nilvala rivers along with the Kirima Oya, Attanagalu Oya, Maha Oya and Deduru Oya are at risk of reaching flood levels during the southwest monsoon. The Mioya, Balave River and Uruboko Oya are also at risk of reaching flood levels. Meanwhile, the clearing of debris at the Vakavella Bridge in Gaul took place today. This was done to ease the draining of the water in the area. A group including Navy and irrigation officers joined in the operations.
Meanwhile, the Met Department has also issued multiple weather advisories cautioning fishing and naval communities as well to refrain from going out to sea due to the fact that wind speeds surrounding the country could increase in the coming days as the monsoon establishes itself gradually over the island.
A boat that had gone out to sea from the Porutota Fisheries harbour had been damaged due to the inclement weather. Fishermen say that the boat had crashed onto a rock after being blown away due to heavy winds. 2 fishermen on board the vessel had been rescued by other fishermen in the area. Fishermen did not go out to sea from the Balapitia and Dodandua Fisheries harbours and the Akurala Fisheries port today. Fishermen did not go to sea from the Devatavella, Ratgamvella and Kadavella Fisheries ports as well. The low-pressure area over the Bay of Bengal has intensified into a depression. It is likely to move towards the coast of Odisha in India.
While there is no direct impact to the country due to the prevailing weather condition, the Met Department has said that there could be an indirect impact to the country in terms of the existing climate. In line with this, the Met Department has issued its forecast on the weather for the coming days, and it notes that the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern provinces as well as the Gaul and Mathura districts will also receive heavy rains in the coming days. News First will continue to keep you updated with the latest developments that unfold and all that you need to know with regard to the latest weather developments in the country.
The Port Authority's efforts to douse the fire that erupted on board the Express Pearl sailing from India to Singapore continued today.
The fire on board the Express Pearl that erupted on the 20th of this month and was subsequently brought under control has reignited. Reactions that occurred in the chemicals stored in the containers on board the ship are suspected to have caused the blaze. The vessel is carrying 1,486 containers with 25 tons of nitric acid, several other chemicals and cosmetics. A team of specialists for the Netherlands arrived in the island this morning to prepare an estimate of the damages.
Look at another one of our local stories. An inquiry was launched into complaints that votes had not been calculated properly during the vote on the Colombo Port City Economic Commission bill recently. Our parliamentary correspondent reported that the members of the committee appointed to conduct the inquiry had arrived in Parliament today. Now, various views were expressed on the inability of the government to gain a 2/3 majority in Parliament during the vote.
An error had occurred when the parliamentary staff counted the votes of the Colombo Port City Economic Commission bill. So far, we have learned that the votes cast by Mr. Ali Sabri and me have not been counted. We are suspicious whether this is an intentional effort to portray the general public that the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna does not have a 2/3 majority in parliament.
They were unable to obtain a 2/3 majority. The government boasted that they were able to obtain a 2/3 majority from the 20th Amendment, but now they have been unable to do that. Yesterday they made up a story on the vote in Parliament. They continue to insist that they have a 2/3 majority. If the chamber housing the 225 MPs cannot count votes, it reflects the government's capability.
This would have been passed even if they had voted for this or not. This bill should have been defeated if a 2/3 majority was not received. If we do not receive a 2/3 majority when it matters the most, then we can see what can be done. Whether it is a technical error or not, it does not make a difference. We have shown that we have a 2/3 majority. We can display this again if necessary.
What are the ministers saying at media conferences against a backdrop in which COVID-19 infected individuals are at their homes due to the lack of space at hospitals? They are saying that they received a 2/3 majority and that there was no miscalculation. There are two coloured buttons to cast their vote. To vote yes, the button is green. To vote no, the colour is red. To abstain is yellow. There is no one among the 225 MPs who cannot identify colours. If anyone couldn't cast their vote through the electronic method, the Speaker allows that MP to cast their vote verbally. To mislead the public, they are falsely claiming that they had a 2/3 majority. The government is acting hilariously. Are they concerned about the people's lives? Or are they focused on politics?
News First revealed the manner in which parliamentarians voted for and against the Port City Economic Commission bill at a district level earlier. Today, we will reveal as to how MPs from the North, North Central and Eastern provinces voted for the bill.
Jaffna District, Northern Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Angajan Ramanathan, Douglas Devananda. MPs who voted against the bill: Sivanyanam Sridharan, M.A. Sumandiran, Tharumalingam Siddharthan, Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam, C.V. Vigneswaran.
One electoral district, Northern Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Kadamastan, Kulasingham Thileepan from the Elam People's Democratic Party. MPs who voted against the bill: Charles Nirmalanathan, S. Adekalanathan, S. Nogaradlingam, Richard Badyuddin.
Batticaloa District, Eastern Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Sivanesature Chandrakanthan, S. Vyalendran. MPs who voted against the bill: Shanakyan Rasamanikam. Nazir Ahmed from the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress was not present in Parliament at the time of the vote.
Diga Madula Electoral District, Eastern Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Vimalavira Disanayaka, Tilak Rajapaksa, A.L.M. Ataullah. MPs who voted against the bill: Mutunabin Musharraf, Tawarasa Kale Arsan, Mohammed Haris and Faisal Qasim from the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress were not present when the vote was called for in Parliament.
Trincomalee District, Eastern Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Kapilanuwan Atukorala. MPs who voted against the bill: Imran Maharoof. Sharif Tawfiq from the Samagi Janabalawege was not present in Parliament during the time of the vote. Leader of Tamil National Alliance R. Sambandhan has sought leave for 3 months from the Parliament.
Anuradhapura District, North Central Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Shehan Semasinghe, S.M. Chandrasena, Channa Jayasumana, Duminda Disanayaka, H. Nandasena, KPS Kumarasiri, Uddika Premaratna and Ishaq Rahman from All Ceylon Makkal Congress. MPs who voted against the bill: Rohana Bandara.
Polonnaruwa District, North Central Province.
MPs who voted in favour of the bill: Maithripala Sirisena, Roshan Ranasinghe, Siripala Gamlat, Amarkirti Atukorala. MPs who voted against the bill: Kings Nelson.
Sri Lanka Navy Sub-Lieutenant Vishwa Fonseca graduated with honours in Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering from the US Coast Guard Academy this week. US President Joe Biden graced the occasion as the chief guest. Sub-Lieutenant Vishwa Fonseca, who joined the Navy on the 3rd of June 2015, is a past pupil of Kingswood College in Kandy. We leave you tonight with visuals of this achievement. For the News First team, I'm Arundhati Mudannayaka, together with our interpreter this evening, Brian Cruz. Good night.
Vishwa Fonseca, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Sri Lankan Coast Guard.